My name is Janette.
Hi, my name is
I'll be
Marie.
your social worker today.
Mhm.
So I wanted to talk to you about some things that your husband gave me information about.
Oh,
Can I kind of repeat what he said?
yes.
So your name is Marie Rodriguez, and you're a 36-year-old female who
Mhm.
seeks treatment for substance abuse. I wanted to get a little bit more about information about you and what's going on, what brings your husband to come and seek help for you. So if you can please start off by telling me a little bit about yourself and from your childhood.
Well, I'm from Puerto Rico, and I've been there since I was 20. That's when I moved here. I come from so I've only had a mom in my house. I never really had a dad. I do have a brother, but he's from a different dad, so he's like my half brother. And well, my dad actually passed away. My dad actually passed away when I was about like 2 years old. Yeah, but and later on, I kind of just started taking drugs at like 9 years old to help cope with that. Yeah, and then I mostly would, and to growing up in my childhood, what I would do to usually pass the time, keep my mind off things, I did track and cycle.
Okay.
Yeah. And, well, when I was 16, I did kind of start huffing glue in Porto. Yes, kind of started huffing glue back there, and then I dropped out because all I wanted to do was I just wanted to get that high.
Yeah.
And well, I didn't, even though I only had my mom, but I didn't really get along with her that well.
What about your half brother?
Him, he always got all the attention from my mom, and I disliked him for that.
And can you give me a little bit more information about your time in the United States? When did you come to the United States and how was it like? Where did you reside?
Well, I came when I was 20 years old, and I stayed in Chicago, Illinois. I mean, I heard it was cheaper, and I didn't have any money at the time. And, I mean, it was different, even though I didn't hear a lot of good things about him. So from my experience, I mean, living in Chicago, I mean, I was sober for 6 years.
Wow.
And when I was 26, I had managed to have an apartment, I had a fiance, and I had a stable job. Life felt good for once. But that is until I found out my fiance decided to cheat on me and then left me.
Your time at Chicago, Illinois, you said you had a fiance, and you said that you guys had a home, you guys were living good, you guys had a good relationship, but you told me that all of a sudden she just decided to leave you for no reason and you're not really sure of why. You also let me know that your mother started to call you and tell you like rude things over the phone. Can you kind of tell me a little bit more about that, when she started doing that and why you think she might be doing that?
Well, I'll gladly tell you. I mean, she got all these, benefits to help her, despite the fact that she didn't bother to just go out and get a job. And my younger brother, he also got the benefits too. Where was I in there? I was nothing to her. And the fact that I decided, this time she would just call me, it didn't make it any better, because she would just tell me about, how much of a failure I was to the family and everything, as if she ever cared about it in the first place.
And did this cause you any like anxiety or depression, especially since your fiance left?
Oh, definitely. I mean, my fiance leaving me, hurt me it opened my wound. But my mother calling me and telling me what a failure I was, it was like rubbing more salt in the wound. So, no. So it felt worse. I felt worse. It's like as if I just really needed that someone out there just like, yeah, let's just put more salt in my wound. Let's go with that.
And when did you feel like this was a breaking point for you?
To me, it felt like when I don't know, with all this going on, it just, felt like I wasn't gonna get anywhere good.
And did you rely on anything to help you cope with this? Maybe like self medication or like consuming drugs and alcohol because of all of this scenario with your mother, your half brother, and your fiance?
Well, I kind of picked up smoking again to cope with this whole thing, cope with the anxiety of having an actual future again, and the fact, with my mother running a failure, just made me want to smoke more and more. I mean, even lately, I started missing work just so I can go smoke with my friends.
Wow.
That's how much I just wanted to get away.
And what about, did you still keep your job after all of this? Did you still have your apartment? Tell me about that. So after all of this went under control, so like what happened after?
After that, I just, because I missed so much days, I just lost my job. And because I lost my job, I couldn't continue paying the rent in my apartment, so I just lost it. Lately, I've been mainly staying at homeless shelters. And just from there, I just usually just stay in there, wander off, go in, go and smoke some more.
And is going back to your mother to Puerto Rico an option for you?
No. It's the last thing I wanted to do. But even then, I'm stuck. I don't know where else I would go to. I had no other choice. So sometimes what I would do, I would just call her, help and lend me some money, basically.
And because of your drug addiction, what are the most riskiest behaviors you've done to get the drugs?
Well, truth is, all the money that my mom would give me after asking her, I just used to spend it on more drugs. Crack cocaine, the usual. And I've been feeling so desperate for more. I've been doing other, shady things. Like I had to go, lately I've been selling my body to go earn that money just so I can fulfill that natural high that I really wanted to get. I needed to do it one way for another.
Yeah. And so my question, now that you're telling me that you've sold your body for drugs to cope with your habit. So I wanted to ask you, have you recently been tested for HIV and AIDS?
Yes.
And what were the results?
Negative, thankfully.
That's good to hear. And I also wanted to talk to you about how you met your husband here in Utah, because you said you were from Chicago, Illinois, but now you're here in Utah. Can you tell me a little bit more about your husband, how you guys met? You guys have any kids? Where you guys live?
Well, we just met online. Your typical online forum, and then he just, one day just asked me like, "Hey, how would you like to come live in Utah with me?" And well, I didn't really think about it. I just really went, "Yeah, I'll come live with you," and I did.
During that time that he brought you to Utah, were you guys sober? Or were one of you sober and one of you was not sober?
No. He also had a problem just like I did.
Oh. And you told me you told me and he told me that you guys have a child. During that time that you were pregnant, were you still consuming?
Yes.
And he also told me that it's difficult for you to keep jobs here in Utah.
Yes.
Why is that?
I mean, I think it's just myself in general. Really, I feel like nothing is just going to improve, but I was just meant to just fail in life.
And has this issue with substance abuse caused your husband and you to have any relationship problems, like jealousy problems, physical violence problems? Have you guys gone to jail?
Well, I mean, sometimes I constantly feel like I'm just being followed, or there's someone inside my own place just watching me out there, waiting for me to do something. And it's just so easy for me to just strike out. I even attacked my own husband as a result. Because I thought he was just someone out there to get me. But it's not like he was any better as well. I mean, I found out he had recently been arrested for shoplifting and even damaging property for whatever reason.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And do any of you have insurance? So yourself or your husband to go into a rehabilitation center? Have you been to a rehabilitation center before?
Yeah, at least back in Chicago.
How long were you there for?
Just 2 years.
And who did your child stay with during those 2 years?
Well, my child just stayed with a friend of mine.
And so once you were sober, did you decide to come back to Utah to meet your child, to get back with your boyfriend, or why? Like, why did you decide to come back to Utah if you were already sober and at Chicago?
I mean, I thought maybe I could just try again, get a second chance.
Okay. So your husband says that he believes that you are still consuming. Is that true? You could trust me. This is all confidential. I just want to know if you still are consuming or not. And if you are, do you need help? Do you have insurance to go to a rehab center maybe today?
I mean, I'm more concerned that I might relapse again. Yeah. I'm worried that I might just go back to my old habits because that's all I've been used to.
Okay. And do you have any type of insurance?
Well, I had someone help me get Medicaid.
Okay, so I think we might be able to qualify you for Medicaid if you are willing to accept this.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And we will end the session today. Thank you. It was nice talking to you, and we will follow up an appointment about the Medicaid and about I'll have a list of rehabilitation centers that Medicaid covers so then we can see which one fits best